The moment we pressed play on this VHS tape, I swear, it didn't feel like just a game. It felt like trespassing. Like staring into someone's private life, something we were never meant to watch. The tape opens with nothing but static. Loud, crackling static that hissed like it wanted to drown out everything else in the room, and then a voice. Calm, gentle, almost too gentle. Hello, children, it said. Mommy's not home right now, but Mommy's friend is. Instant goosebumps. My friend and I just looked at each other, half laughing nervously, half actually terrified. You know that feeling when your brain tells you it's fake, but your body refuses to believe it. Yeah, that. The footage slowly sharpened, revealing what looked like a living room frozen in time. Old wallpaper peeling at the edges, a couch covered in dusty plastic, and a clock on the wall ticking way too loud. Something about it felt off, like the room itself was alive. We leaned in closer to the screen, and then the camera shifted. Not like a cutscene, but like someone was holding it, breathing into the mic, and I swear, you could hear faint footsteps pacing back and forth. That was the moment my heart started racing. Because this wasn't a character introduction, this was someone inside the tape. Someone waiting for us to keep watching, every second stretched out like an eternity. The voice hummed a little tune, almost like a lullaby, and then it whispered, "Would you like to play with me until Mommy comes back?" I froze. My friend muttered, "Nope, nope, nope, turn it off." But we didn't. We couldn't. Something about the way it asked, sweet but sinister, made it impossible to look away. And just when we thought it couldn't get creepier, the screen flickered. For half a second, I swear we saw a face. Pale, too close to the camera, smiling, but not the kind of smile you'd ever want to see in the dark. We laughed it off, but not because it was funny. It was the kind of laugh you do when you're trying to convince yourself everything's fine. But deep down, we both knew something inside that tape was real. The living room shot stayed frozen, silent now, waiting, and that's when the clock on the wall started ticking faster, louder, like a countdown. We leaned closer, holding our breath, when suddenly the screen went black, but the whisper didn't stop. It was still in the room with us. The screen was pitch black, no picture, no static, just silence. But the whisper didn't stop. It was faint, like it was crawling out of the speakers and into the room with us. "Don't be afraid," it said. "I only want to play." I looked at my friend, and he looked at me, and in that exact moment, we both realized this wasn't just a game. It felt alive. Then suddenly the tape crackled back on. This time, the view wasn't of the living room anymore. No, the camera had moved. Now it was showing a long, narrow hallway lined with family portraits. Every single picture frame was crooked. Some of the faces inside were scratched out. Others weren't even human. I swear, one of the portraits had eyes that followed us as we stared at the screen. And then the rules appeared, handwritten words scrawled in shaky red letters across the bottom of the screen. Rule 1, never look directly at Mommy's friend. That was it. No explanation, just the rule. I laughed nervously, like, okay, cool, creepypasta rules, got it. But deep down, my stomach dropped. Because the more I thought about it, the more I realized the game was warning us. The hallway stretched on forever. The camera drifted forward step by step, and the floorboards groaned with each move. My controller vibrated like there was actual weight behind every step. We reached the end of the hall where a single door waited, old, splintered. A faint light leaked out from the cracks around its frame, like something was alive in there. "Should we open it?" I asked. My friend shook his head. "Nope, absolutely not." But of course we opened it. Inside was a child's bedroom. The wallpaper was peeling, stuffed animals sat in neat rows across the bed, and the TV in the corner flickered with more static. But the creepiest part wasn't the toys. It wasn't the TV. It was the closet door slightly open, like something was hiding inside. I don't know why I did it. but I walked the character closer to the closet. And that's when the second rule appeared on the screen. Rule 2, never open the closet after dark. And guess what time it was? The clock in the corner of the room ticked over to 12:01 a.m. We froze. The closet door creaked just a little wider on its own, and for half a second, I thought I saw a hand. Small, pale, curling around the edge. My friend whispered, "Nope, I'm done," but I couldn't move. My controller was shaking like crazy, and I swear the game wasn't even letting me back away anymore. The closet door swung open slow, painful, like it was dragging time with it. Darkness inside, just pitch black. We leaned in closer to the screen, holding our breath. And then 2 glowing eyes opened inside the closet. 2 glowing eyes, just hovering there in the dark. For a few seconds, nothing else happened. No jump scare, no sudden noise, just silence. And honestly, that silence was way worse, because then the game whispered, "SHHH, Mommy's friend is awake now." I froze. My controller vibrated once, sharp like a heartbeat, and then the closet door slammed shut on its own. We both jumped out of our seats. I tried to laugh it off like, "Okay, good one, game, creepy closet, glowing eyes, nice touch." But my voice cracked, and the truth is, I wasn't laughing at all. The TV screen flickered again, and this time it wasn't showing the bedroom anymore. It was showing us, I swear. The VHS was now playing footage of our room. Same messy desk, same chair, same lamp in the corner. Only difference. In the VHS version, there was someone standing behind us. We whipped around so fast we nearly fell out of our chairs, but no one was there. When we looked back at the screen, the figure was gone, and just like that, the hallway returned. The game kept going like nothing had happened. At this point, my heart was racing so hard I couldn't hear it in my ears, but curiosity is a killer, right? We kept moving forward. The game led us down another hallway, this one even narrower, the wallpaper torn in long claw-like scratches, and then the third rule appeared in the same shaky red text. Rule 3, if you hear him breathing, don't breathe back. We both sat there like, "Excuse me, what does that even mean?" But we didn't have time to figure it out, because as soon as the rule disappeared, we heard it, a slow, rattling inhale, then an even slower exhale, and it wasn't coming from the game. It was coming from right next to us. My friend and I locked eyes. Neither of us dared to move. The game character just stood still in the hallway, breathing normally, but in the room with us, the breathing got louder, closer. I clamped my hand over my mouth, holding my breath so hard my lungs burned. My friend, he panicked. He let out this tiny, shaky exhale like a whimper, and instantly the game reacted. The hallway lights in VHS flickered and the camera spun violently, slamming into the wall. The screen went dark for a second before a face flashed across it, distorted, pale, and grinning so wide it didn't even look human anymore. We both screamed so loud the neighbors probably thought we were dying, and then silence again. The game reset itself to the bedroom, like nothing had happened, like it was testing us. And that's when it hit me. The rules weren't just for the game, they were for us too. Asterisk. The game dropped us back in the bedroom like nothing had happened. The toys were neatly lined up again, the clock ticked steady, and the closet door was shut tight. But this time, something was off. The rules, the ones that usually appeared at the bottom of the screen, they weren't there. Instead, there was just a single phrase written in jagged red text. "Mommy's friend doesn't like cheaters." I felt my stomach drop. Cheaters, what did that mean? We hadn't even broken a rule. We followed them as best we could. The lights in the room flickered, and suddenly the stuffed animals on the bed, they weren't sitting upright anymore. No, every single one of them was facing us. I swear, their glass eyes gleamed in the glow of the TV, like they were watching. And then the game glitched. For a split second, the bedroom walls warped, peeling back into darkness. And when the screen stabilized again, there was a new rule written across the wallpaper. Rule 4, never turn around when Mommy's friend is near. We both froze. Because the second those words appeared, we heard it. Soft footsteps, slow, dragging, coming from right behind us. My friend whispered, "Don't turn around." I clenched the controller so tight my knuckles went white. The character on screen just stood frozen in the room. The toys' heads twitched slightly, one by one, like they were trying to warn us. The footsteps got closer, louder, right behind our chairs, and then something breathed on the back of my neck. I swear I felt the warmth of it. My instinct screamed to turn around, but the rule kept replaying in my head, "Never turn around." Never turn around. We sat there in complete silence, holding our breath, while the sound of footsteps circled the room. And then everything stopped. The VHS flickered again, showing a different location. This time it was a basement. Damp, dimly lit, with stairs that disappeared into pitch black. The camera drifted slowly downward, creaking with every step. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. And right before we reached the bottom, a new message scrawled across the screen, "Rule 5, if you see him, don't scream." I laughed nervously, like, yeah, okay, sure, easy rule. But I couldn't even finish the joke, because that's when the screen revealed what was waiting in the basement. At first, it was just a shadow. Tall, slender, standing perfectly still in the corner, but then it moved. The figure twisted its head unnaturally, like its neck was bending in ways it shouldn't. And slowly, ever so slowly, it turned toward the camera. The screen started to warp, the sound of static roaring in our ears, and then we saw it. The face pale, stretching too far across its skull, that same wide, unnatural grin, and the worst part, its lips were moving. Because Mommy's friend wasn't just staring at us anymore, he was whispering our names. Asterisk, the screen was shaking, the static roaring, and that pale face, those lips, they were moving, whispering. At first, it was nonsense, words stretched and broken, like someone drowning underwater. But then we heard it, clear, distinct, our names. He wasn't just talking to the character in the game anymore, he was talking to us. I froze, my blood went cold, because there was no way, absolutely no way, this tape should have known our names. The face leaned closer to the screen, filling the frame until there was nothing but that grin, those eyes, and then everything cut to black, silence, not just in the game, but in our room too. The fan stopped spinning, the clock on the wall froze at 3:00 a.m. Even my headset went dead. The VHS flickered back on this time, showing our actual room again. Only now it wasn't empty. Behind the in-game version of us, Mommy's friend was standing in the corner, tall, still, smiling. My friend grabbed the controller and tried to back out, but nothing worked. The game wouldn't let us leave. It just forced our character to sit there, in the same chair we were sitting in, like a mirror. And then another rule appeared across the screen, scratched deep into the image. Rule 6. If Mommy's friend enters your world, you can't let him touch you. We both froze, staring at that text, when suddenly, bang, something hit the door of our actual room. Hard, I swear the walls shook. We jumped up, spinning around, but there was nothing there. When we turned back to the screen, the door in the VHS version was wide open, and slowly, ever so slowly, the figure stepped inside. Its movements were wrong, jerky, glitching like it didn't fully belong in one reality. The camera zoomed closer and closer to its face, until that grin was all we could see, and then the screen went black again, only this time the whisper didn't come from the TV. It came from right behind us. We turned, and for a split second I swear there was a shadow standing in the corner of our room, long arms stretching down to the floor, head cocked sideways, watching. My friend screamed and threw his headset across the room, yelling, "Nope, nope, we're done." But it was too late because the VHS flickered one last time, showing us the final rule. The letters carved so deep into the tape they almost bled across the screen. Final rule: once you've seen him, he will never leave you. And that's when the TV turned off on its own. But the whisper didn't. Asterisk. The TV shut itself off. The room went dark, but the whisper didn't stop. It slithered through the silence, low and cold, curling around us like smoke. Stay with me forever. My chest tightened. My friend was pacing the room, muttering, "Nope, nope. Not doing this." But I just stood there, frozen, staring at the blank screen. Because even though the TV was off, the reflection in the glass wasn't ours anymore. It was his, that pale face, those hollow eyes, the grin that stretched way too wide, watching us from the other side of the glass like it was a window. And then crack, the screen fractured, a hairline split across the middle, spreading like a spider web. My friend screamed, grabbed the remote, and started smashing buttons. Nothing worked. The whisper grew louder, warping into laughter. Low at first, then higher, faster, until it sounded like a child giggling and a demon howling all at once. And then the lights flickered back on. Only now the rules were scrawled across the walls of our actual room. Every single one. Scribbled in red like claw marks: never look at him, never open the closet, never breathe back, never turn around, don't scream, don't let him touch you, all of them glowing, repeating. Over and over again, and in the middle of it all Mommy's friend. He stepped out of the corner, tall, crooked, his shadow stretching across the floor like it was alive on its own. The air went ice cold. I gripped the controller like it was a weapon, even though it was useless. What do we do? My friend whispered. And the whisper answered for us, you don't. The TV blared back to life, static screaming in our ears. And there, in shaky red letters, the final message burned onto the screen. You can turn the tape off, but he will stay. We both screamed, yanked the plug out of the wall, and the room went dead. Silent. For a second, we thought it was over. But then knock, knock, knock. 3 soft knocks at the closet door. We didn't sleep that night. We didn't even stay in the same room. And honestly, after that, I don't think I'll ever look at an old VHS tape the same way again. So yeah, safe to say, we're never pressing play on Mommy's friend again. At least not at night, heh. Heh, beat un, less you guys dare us to. Asterisk.